Welcome YouTube for the second installment of Content Critique, where we point your eyes to the videos worthy of your views and steer you clear from the drudgery of the platform. I'm your host, Jesse Pfeiffer, and joining me today is Boo Boo Stewart.
That is not my name.
Today we're looking at Videogamedunkey's latest video, a piece on MultiVersus. Let's take a look.
This is like a roster of the toys I had when I was a kid. I had a Street Shark, The Rock, a T-Rex, and a bucket of green army men from Toy Story. There is no level of cohesion.
Classic Dunkey, and I gotta say, it's on par with his previous catalog. What do you think, Boo Boo?
Still not my name. I gotta say, this really felt like a love letter to Smash Brothers more than anything else, and it mostly just made me want to buy a Switch. That being said, watching Bugs Bunny shit talk half of Warner Brothers IP was pretty entertaining.
My original thought was that this was a DLC for Smash. It was very confusing to find out halfway through the video that it was an entirely different game.
This video did need more setup. I feel like it could have used a better introduction. I didn't even know what platform it was available for or who even produced it.
Criticism aside, this is 4 minutes and 26 seconds of classic Dunkey. It's definitely a thumbs upper from me.
Look, I have a confession to make here. I had not watched any of Dunkey's videos before we reviewed this. And I gotta say, the guy's hilarious, and I give him points for that. But if the point of this video was for him to get me to want to play that game, then I have to say he failed.
Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, even when they're wrong. But I will say, this is not his best work, just my personal opinion here. However, I did really enjoy the nonsensical matchups that Dunkey dropped into this video. So let's take a look at a couple of them. LeBron James versus John Elway. Now, out the gate, of course, we're going to look at net worth, right? Well, LeBron James clocks in at a whopping $1 billion, which definitely cascades right over John Elway's, 175 mil tops? So in that department, sure, you might think LeBron James has an edge, but then we have to look at something that's kind of hidden under the covers. LeBron James starred in Space Jam: New Legacy, which I think you agree is a Hollywood disaster.
A cinematic triumph it is not. While the cost of the movie ticket may have been cheap, the price of the therapy I needed afterward to recover my lost childhood was not.
So John Elway, on the other hand, threw for an impressive 51,000 passing yards. And I think most importantly, the crux of my argument here is that he co-starred on an episode of Tim Allen's Home Improvement. And for that reason alone, I'm giving this matchup straight to John Elway. Now, the second matchup that Dunkey talked about here was Yogi Bear versus Kramer from Seinfeld. Now, both beloved characters, but let's take a closer look at this one. Yogi Bear, a beloved forest animal, right, that lives amongst the humans, versus Kramer, right, a guy from New York who famously beat up Mickey Mantle. While these two might knock gloves for a couple rounds in the ring, ultimately, Kramer's just another picnic basket for our boy Yogi Bear. But let's talk about the real matchup Dunkey proposed in this video. Mario versus Sonic. And honestly, it's shocking that he'd even make this comparison because it's so one-sided in my opinion. We're talking about Sega versus Nintendo. Nintendo raking in 49 million in sales. Sega, what was it, 29 million? Super Mario World for the SNES sold over 20 million copies. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis, barely 5. This is a non-starter in my book. Mario is clearly the heavyweight in this particular matchup.
Mario might be crushing it as far as the video game industry is concerned, but when it comes to film, Sonic is absolutely destroying him. Even Academy Award winner Dennis Hopper, Bowser from Super Mario Bros.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Even he could not manage to save the fever dream of a movie that was that film from 1993 that shall not be named. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey managed to take a script and elevate it, even though no one thought this was going to be anything, and ended up creating one of the best movies of the last couple of years.
And that's easy to agree with. I loved the Sonic movies, both of them, and Jim Carrey was amazing in both, as he is in most things. And what's not to say? He's an American treasure. But I will say, I go to sleep most night praying that I'm not tormented by the memory of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Don't we all?
Anyway, a bit about Dunkey. Let's get to know the man behind the voice, the man behind these works. His name is Jason Gastro. He is 31 this year, actually. I think he turns 31 this year. He created the Videogamedunkey channel back in 2010, and since then has amassed over 7 million subscribers. His videos have been viewed over 3 billion times, and it is estimated that his net worth annually, anyway, is $1.7 million. Did you know, Boo Boo, that Jason actually got his start in the early 2000s doing Flash animations?
Still not my name. Still not my name. But I do respect the hustle. That is ridiculously old school, and I love it.
And speaking of ridiculous, his very first video, at least that he's known for anyway, was a parody of YMCA by the Village People.
Well, on the topic of history, I think Dunkey's really showing his age here, and nothing shows it more than him dusting off this artifact from 1999. The nostalgia is strong with this one.
And honestly, that plays perfectly into what's really my final thought about this video. There is no level of cohesion in Dunkey's video here. The video opens about Smash Brothers and then cuts to clips of this game, MultiVersus, but it could be very easily mistaken for just what could be a DLC. And that's just sloppy work from Dunkey's part. So content critique videos are split into two parts. The first part, we take a look at this week's trending video on YouTube, and then in the second part, we dive into what that person, that content creator, is really known for. And this week, we're diving into one of Videogamedunkey's greatest hits, his review on Elden Ring. Let's take a look.
Elden Ring is the biggest game ever made. When you start, the map is like this, and you go, damn, this game is big. Then you get teleported to the other side of the map and realize, oh my god, this game is big.
Again, another thumbs up for me. This was a great video. It had me laughing from end to end. So what did you think, Boo Boo?
I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry.
What? Why? What's the problem? It's not Boo Boo? It's not Boo Boo? Who is it? This is Boo Boo, right? From X-Men, Days of Future Past. Right, this was Warpath. It's not? Not even close? Brandon Walker. Oh, Brandon Walker. My apologies. Brandon, come back to the set. Listen, it's not me. It's what's written on the cards. It's written on the cards. I just read from the cards. I apologize. Come back. Let's complete the review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Elden Ring. It's very important to me. The audience would love to know as well.
Well, I thought it was fantastic. It was a well thought out, loving review that balanced enthusiasm and appreciation for the game with not being afraid to hold the developers' feet to the fire and address the real issues.
I can't help but think, though, that part of this video's success is due to, yes, it's Videogamedunkey, we all love him, but also Elden Rings. You know, both of them, right, this period of time kind of had this meteoric rise, and Dunkey's really just riding the coattails of Elden Ring's success here.
You know, he is capitalizing on the relevance of the game, and relevance is exactly it. I think that's kind of what Dunkey's audience is looking for, and that's what he's giving to them. I don't blame him for that.
Dunkey's commentary was on point. It was accurate, it was constructive, it was certainly entertaining. However, I think he missed the boat here on when he discussed game difficulty. And honestly, I think there's just a general misunderstanding of Miyazaki's game mechanics and how he approaches game difficulty. So the average game player, much like yourself, is expecting a menu with easy, normal, and hard difficulties. Miyazaki, however, kind of blends this into the game. The difficulty comes from the class that you build. You want easy mode, you make a mage. You want something more difficult, you pick up a two-handed weapon and you learn to dodge, parry, and block, and then, do your best.
Well, Jesse, while that is all true, there's an easier road to this game and a harder road to this game. I think that Dunkey himself put it best, and I am paraphrasing when I say this, but basically there is a difference between difficulty and deaths that just feel unearned. And no amount of blocking and parrying will save you from an unblockable one-hit kill shot that takes up 90% of the room that you're currently in.
A quick aside, as entertaining as Videogamedunkey's videos are, Dunkey's comment sections can be legendary. And I actually read through the comments for this video as well here on Elden Ring, and it would appear that you and about 5,000 other people agreed with the particular Mr. Henry98, who said, and I quote, "You don't understand. This game is easy. Just switch to a Bleed Arcana Mage long-distance Mimic tier build." And he said this sarcastically, he's in jest, but his point is that this is how the games are built. This is how difficulty is encapsulated in the game.
Well, Mr. Henry, no, I do not understand, because if there's supposed to be some sort of one-size-fits-all, one build to rule them all, and that's the only way you're able to successfully play and enjoy this game, then I think it flies in the face of having viable choices.
Agree to disagree, but I think we can both agree on the critique on Elden Ring's builds. There are so many potential options to the player in Elden Ring, but it's just such a drag that in order to access them, you have to go through these inane grinds to get the materials required to, really bring these builds to life.
This game will put you through the ringer, and in the cruelest way possible. I would recommend, if that's what you're here for and you just want to truly understand the nature and meaning of human suffering, read Dostoevsky. It's a lot quicker.
Russian authors aside, we have gotten way off track on this video. We're supposed to be reviewing Videogamedunkey's video, his review. I give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Well, random internet people, this wraps up this week's content critique review of Videogamedunkey's MultiVersus and Elden Ring. Remember, comments, comments, comments. You write them, I read them. Maybe. Anyway, do the work, like, subscribe, and maybe next week we'll come back with another video.